Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today with Scott McLaughlin, driver of the number 3 Penske machine in the NTT INDYCAR Series, who finished a wonderful third in the championship this year.
Yep.
53 to the boot, boys. Let's go.
Scotty Mac, McLaughlin wins at Baba. It is a massive lap. Scott McLaughlin wins the pole for the Indy 500. From Milwaukee, and McLaughlin has won again on an oval.
Scott, I want to kick it off with NCAA football. Why Wisconsin?
Why Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean, we were literally just off camera talking about, and you're like, oh yeah, we were up at USC.
Yeah.
Why are you a Wisconsin?
Well, a lot of people think my accent's from Wisconsin.
I know that's not true because Wisconsin people sound like Canadians.
Yeah.
And you don't sound anything like us.
No, blame my spotter. My spotter, Adam Fournier. So he's a massive Wisconsinite, Packers fan, Badgers fan.
Okay.
And I just jumped onto a team because of him. I didn't have a college team. I didn't want to do the normal Georgia Bulldog, Ohio State, Alabama, like the 4 big ones.
Right.
Even Michigan. I was like, stuff it. I'm going to just support the Badgers. They're pretty good. They're not that great. They could be really good. They're a really good program. And I'm a big fan of sports, so I got to have a team.
Right.
So they're my team.
You needed something to focus on Saturdays in fall.
Yep.
And so you just went with his.
Well, the thing is, when I've got a team as well, like I'm locked in on that team. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you, like, you're a grown man, you support the Carolina Panthers. You decided out of all those teams, you're going to support the Panthers. I'm like, yeah, because I live in Charlotte.
Makes sense.
First American team. Same with the Wisconsin Badgers. It's like, well, I had some connections there.
Right.
People went there. Badgers it is.
Well, because like NFL, you go, I'm assuming, based off your wife's.
Well, no, where I live. My wife is actually a Jets fan.
Are you not a Jets fan?
No, because I would not put myself through that misery. I thought I'd decide and do it.
You just stuck with
the Panthers,
yeah.
Which is like, they're not too bad. The Jets are like, come on. Jets are the Jets.
So like, is it tough in the household when it's?
Yeah, it's a little bit, but she flows with the breeze.
Is she a fair weather fan?
Yeah, she was cheering the Panthers on the other Sunday and just hanging out. She's a good girl like that.
Is this the U.S. sport that you've embraced the most?
NFL?
Yeah. Or football?
I probably would say NBA, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big NBA fan. I've always been a massive basketball fan. And actually, before I met Carly, who's from New York, I was always a Knicks fan. So I've been a Knicks fan for a long, long time. So seeing them the last few years get better and better has been really cool. But yeah, NBA or NFL is probably my favorite.
Okay, well, at least you guys have that together. You
yes.
go on the same basketball side.
Crazy thing, like when I first came to New York to see her, she took me to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks game.
Nice.
And it was like the first time I'd seen an NBA game live, but at the Garden as well. It was unreal. I was like, yep, let's put a ring on her finger. Straight away.
This is a key.
Yeah, no, this is a key.
She gets me.
Yeah.
Let's lock this
so
down.
About a year later, we did that. Yeah.
Okay, so big sports fan. We know that. You are a bit of a gamer.
Love games.
You like to golf.
Mm-hmm. Love golf.
You've recently gotten into reality TV. We're going to touch on that in a second.
No, really? I thought this was meant to be serious.
No.
Yeah. When you're interviewing, it's never is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of hobbies outside of motorsports, which is cool. A lot of drivers don't. Like sometimes they struggle. Like, so what do you do outside? And they really struggle. You've got a laundry list of things that keep you busy.
Yep.
Occupy your time. You are days, maybe hours away from being a father.
Yes, potentially hours.
Potentially hours.
Yeah.
at the time of this recording.
Yes.
Where is being a dad going to fall on this priority list of golfer, gamer, TV binge watcher? It's a time-consuming thing from what I hear.
Well, it's very circumstantial because I think it's going to change as she gets older.
Right. Okay. So let's say year one.
Year one, probably. I'm going to have to be a dad. I don't know. I'm going to have to change the nappies. I'm going to do bits and pieces. Nappies or diapers, whatever.
Yeah.
We call it. That's what we call them. But no, I'm very excited to be a dad, mate. I can't wait. I've got everything sorted. Like Carly's amazing. She got the nursery done. The car seats are in the car. It's unreal. But I think eventually play golf with her. I'd love to do that. So yeah, I think my hobbies will align in various stages of her life.
Right.
So that'll be pretty cool. And then eventually Dad won't be cool anymore. So yeah, I'll just have to deal with that.
You'll go through it's like a 10-year period there where Dad's just not cool.
I think when she's 13, I'm going to be out.
Yeah.
Even Mum might be out too. So we'll see.
Definitely. Yeah. That's definitely a thing. But you'll probably be actually more in than Mum.
Depends. If I'm still driving a car, I might be okay.
I feel like football, watching sports is probably going to be the one that you hang on to the most, because you can do that with her just there.
Well, we've got this thing. It's like a baby, like she just attaches to me.
Yeah.
So I can sit.
Like the baby Bjorn kind of thing.
I've seen videos of dudes like playing Call of Duty with the kid just like right here.
Never thought about that.
I could see that. I could believe it. I'm manifesting I can do that. I've told Carly I'm going to like potentially do that. Watch Red Zone and maybe a couple of little COD games. My daughter just right here, just hanging out. I've seen the videos, unreal.
So
I'm going to be a very responsible father though.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, I feel like it's just golf that's going to take a short hiatus. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of years. Then she'll become the next Lydia Ko, the next Nelly Korda. No dramas.
Oh, is that the hope?
The aim. Oh yeah.
Gets the golf clothes in.
Yeah. No, she can do whatever she wants, James.
As long as it's golf.
Yeah.
On the golf thing, you are an avid golfer.
Yes.
And a pretty good one.
Yep.
Your
Not
handicap
bad.
is
it's like a
single digits.
Yeah. So you'd say I'll round me up to a 7.
Round you up to a 7.
I'm a 6.7.
Pretty solid.
Most people will get that. Yeah.
Right. I feel like once you're into the single digits, you're allowed to add the decimal.
Yeah.
Above that, I'm a 12.3. You just sound like
come on, dude.
You're trying too hard.
You're a 12. Let's round it down to make you happy, but maybe a 13.
Right. Yeah. We spoke to Colin Herta earlier.
Yes. Okay. That's scary.
It was terrifying at times. You lose his focus.
Did he have a hat on?
No, but just the gorgeous hair.
Yeah, beautiful.
And he made a comment that he likes golf. And I asked him if he was any good at it, because I'd never really seen him or heard about
Me
him
either.
golf. You haven't either. It's because he's not very good at it. And he claimed that to be good at golf means you don't have any friends or a life. As someone who's good at golf, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think he's my friend. So I'm good at golf.
So he's proving himself wrong.
Yeah, kind of.
It's already.
I think we're buds, but I
You
think
thought
we
so?
are.
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
No, I think that's false.
Okay.
Because some of my best times have been out on the golf course with the boys, just having a few beers and hitting some golf balls, and that's exactly what happened. I shot my best score the other day. I was having a couple of beers, hanging out. It was all unreal.
Yeah, I think he's just doing golf wrong.
Yeah, I think
misunderstanding.
I think he's just in the wrong part of America and doesn't have anyone to hang out with.
That's actually not a bad point.
Yeah.
And he's moving further away from everybody.
Exactly.
But whatever.
We won't tell everybody where he is, but we know.
Speaking of drinking beers, Connor Daly.
Oh my God.
He gave you one of what I think is one of the greatest compliments. Certainly in his world, this is one of the greatest compliments.
Yes.
That you are capable of, you have an ability to, quote, erase fears, which is something that...
He's such an idiot.
I think it's a pretty cool title. How do you feel about having that moniker?
Look, as you said, Connor is the party guy of the IndyCar series, and we've seen him at various establishments at IndyCar, half the parties and whatnot, but he's a great guy. But yeah, I love a good beer. I love a cold Coors Light normally. Mountains of Blue.
Mountains of Blue, baby.
But I just like the fact of being able to just sit down, hang out, and have a cold one.
We actually saw you doing that the other day. You posted a picture of you and SVG having a beer. Was it, were you guys watching football? Football now?
It was one of Shane's first football Sundays.
Right.
So
I think you called it American rugby, right?
Yeah, American rugby. I'm like, that's going to go down like...
Yeah, he's already out.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's slowly getting into it. Everyone was giving him stick for being a Panthers fan. I don't think he's even a Panthers fan. I think he just doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't know what's happening.
That wasn't actually his jersey that he had on. He just put someone else's jersey on.
He's figuring
to
it out.
look good.
Is it fun having him in town now and having another transport over from your neck of the woods?
It's certainly weird because we went so many years of just like we were
each other.
Yeah. I would
it's like on track.
You know what I mean? Like we were just. It was like a Dixon, willpower. Like we were just at each other for so many years. The teams, didn't really like each other. And then we went out for dinner and it was like, oh, we're out for dinner. Like, what do we sort of talk about? Because we only saw each other maybe at an after party, having a beer after the race or whatever. And I've known Shane a long period of my life, probably since I was 14. So he's a couple years older than me, but always had a tremendous amount of respect. He's a guy that I always thought he was the one guy in supercars that could figure it out eventually. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna be great in the Cup Series. I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, well, you beat him to it in terms of making that transition out of supercars to something else.
Yeah.
And, we've talked a lot over the years, man, about your kind of meteoric rise through this series, how quick your transition was, and, the fact that every year you improve in the championship. You tied this year, so I mean, I guess it's not going backwards, so we're not going to...
Colton stuffed that for me.
Right, he did, he did. He's kind of sneaky like that. Yeah. Snake in the grass. Snake in the grass. But he still didn't go backwards, so we're gonna continue that, telling that narrative. But when you look back at 2020, 2021, making that transition full-time, obviously it went well, but is there anything you look back on now with the benefit of a couple years of hindsight and wish you had done differently to kind of help that transition even more?
Okay, just the transition from supercars to IndyCar. I think not panicking in the early stages. I think there was definitely a portion, especially after I finished second at Texas. After that, I went through a pretty bad run because I just thought, I'm there now. I made a podium and
first oval race, I got a podium. Isn't that hard?
And not getting ahead of myself, but there was a point where, as you know, as any race driver, you get to a point you're like, well, that's the standard now. But I didn't understand and Will and Joseph and Simon all told me, just ride the wave. And I didn't understand the wave. And the wave is, especially when you're a rookie, there's some tracks that you're really good at. Some tracks you're not that great at. Some tracks you'll be like, I don't like the tyre. This is the first time I've gone to a series where the tyre construction changed. Road course, street course. Sometimes the street courses were different to the other street course. It's just so many differences to what I had been doing. And then added the fact that it doesn't have a roof anymore and I've got wheels on the outside of my car instead of the inside. So a few little changes. But no, I think the way I went about it, I don't think I'll change it. I learned a lot with the ups and downs I had. And then I think I would just say maybe my attitude just maybe needed an adjustment or just be a bit more patient for sure, because St. Pete in 22 came out of nowhere for me, but I think it was because I was chill. I was just I didn't know what to expect. And I came out with pole and win. I didn't expect to do that, but the minute I sort of lowered my expectations and just ran with it and trusted my ability, that was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's so often the case, right? As soon as you put an expectation on something, you're aiming for something that might not happen, and then it just spirals out of control.
You just think about it.
Yeah.
There's no point thinking about. I think it can go for anyone and the world. No point thinking about the promotion of your job. You just got to work to get that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with us in professional sport.
Don't think, just do.
Yeah.
It's advice that kind of works for anything.
Yep.
You did finish third in the championship this year. You finally became an IndyCar driver proper.
Yeah.
With that oval win.
Times two.
First one came, second one shortly behind. How important was that kind of milestone for you, getting that first oval win?
It was big. The Iowa one, was awesome, obviously my first one, but the Milwaukee one for me was a big one. I felt like that race threw everything at me, kind of it was like a mini 500 almost, the amount of things that changed, the strategy changed, the car wasn't great at the start, we figured it out. That was awesome, but getting that first one out of the way at Iowa at a cool place like that was awesome. I won with Expel, they've been on my car basically since I've been here as well, so that was awesome to have all those people there as well celebrating it with me. And I didn't want to be arrogant or I remember Alex sort of gave me a bit of stick at the press conference after about, I'm not an IndyCar driver because he hadn't won an oval. And it wasn't anything to say that to even Colton before he won an oval. But it's just, I know how much of a backbone of oval racing is in the sport, and for me, I didn't feel like I was a part of the DNA until you can just look in the record books and say that I'd won on all facets of the championship, and really proud to do that.
Third in the championship, it doesn't exactly continue your streak of being, one position higher every year, but it doesn't go down, so we're gonna keep it.
Yep.
But second year in a row, top Penske. Is that something that, look, I know drivers are competitive, you want to beat everybody, it's important to beat your teammates first, all that stuff. how important is it? I mean, when you don't win a championship, anything after is it's kind of like second, third, fourth, whatever. Is being the top guy in the team kind of the next goal? Okay, if I don't win the championship, I at least need this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a goal. Like, for me, I regard the two guys that I race against in the team, you know, they're probably the two best in the sport, obviously, and that's not taken away from anyone, but two of some of the best, you know. I enjoy working with a pair of them. I think we have a really good working relationship in terms of exceeding our, like trying to just be better all together. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to beat them overall, and it's definitely a proud moment for sure. Ideally, I'd love to beat them by winning the championship, but and the next goal for me is obviously a 500 win as well. But what I've learned off those two, along with Simon Pagenaud, man, like it's been a credible sort of relationship, and certainly probably the three toughest teammates I've ever had in my career.
When you look forward to next year, do you kind of look at the performance over the whole season in 2024? Like every year you come in wanting to fight for a championship.
Yeah.
Given how you performed as a driver and as a team in 24, and obviously there were some things that, had they not happened the way they did, would have been a closer battle. Do you feel like you're more prepared to go win a championship next year than you've ever been?
Yeah, I think, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I've got all the pieces in the puzzle to do it. I feel like now having that confidence of winning on an oval as well and winning on all disciplines, I think that was a feather in my cap that I didn't have. So that's a huge confidence booster. I tidy up a few things this year and I'm right there with Alex. So, you know, I have no doubt that I've got everything together to do it, and the belief is there. Just, I need to limit my own mistakes and things that happen throughout the year, and you know, and I'll go back on this and figure it out and be better and come back stronger. And that's, you know, even fitness and bits and pieces along the way. You know, we joke about me having a beer, but I'm very serious about my fitness, nutrition, mental capacity. Like, there's so many things that go into, you know, the sport that we love. But you've got to have an outside getaway as well, and I'm glad I have the balance of those two, and I'm very excited to put it all together, hopefully, and come back stronger in 25.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of that outside balance for you comes from Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
What?
Man.
How? Why?
I was watching the NASCAR race. I can't remember where they were, and it was rained out. And I had a couple beers under the belt at that point, and I was like, well, I've never watched Jersey Shore. I was with Carly on the couch. Why don't we just turn the first episode
Did it
on?
like come up in conversation? Like, did she make some reference?
No,
or?
she's always just talked about it, and I've heard a couple of sayings from the show, and I've learnt more since.
Yeah.
But like, I genuinely was like, oh, I'll just put this on. I couldn't stop watching it. I must have, for 3-4 days, like, watched it flat stick. Then I started tweeting about it a little bit, and everyone's like living their childhood dreams, like from like 2010. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, people are like living this with me. And I've always enjoyed that on social. I'm pretty active on it, just purely from a fact of, you know, I was always that kid that wondered what my hero or what that dude was doing.
On a Tuesday night.
Yeah, right? So like, well, he's watching Jersey Shore, dude. So it's how it is, but I'm enjoying it. I'm up to season 4 now.
And you're like mates with Pauly D now on Twitter.
Oh, I don't know if I'm mates. I've DM'd him to try and get into an IndyCar race. No response yet, but there's still time.
Working on it.
There's still time.
But he follows you.
He does follow me.
Okay.
But he follows about 1.3 million other people as well, I think.
Less cool.
Yeah.
Less cool.
But he still follows me.
But he
though.
does. Yes, I guess that's true. Okay, so now I kind of understand why you may not have seen your DM
Absolutely.
specifically.
He's a worldwide guy.
Just keep hammering it.
Yep.
So the interaction that you had with people, it's actually funny to hear that people kind of watching you live it is them reliving it in a way.
Yeah.
Have you already like lined up the next show that you want to do this with?
Well, no, I haven't. Well, a lot of people so we have a lot of UK fans. They've said Geordie Shore is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's the UK version.
Yeah, it's rough.
So I think that's pretty rough. But yeah, I'm probably more just gonna stay on. I might start watching like the Family Vacation, the new stuff that come out, and I'm a big Love Island guy. Like Love Island, like, that's a lot. There's a lot of heat coming out these days, man. I mean, we had Rob from Love Island at Nashville on the weekend, and great guy, loves his racing. I think he'll be out at a few events. So it's funny. A lot of people take the mickey out of like all those shows, but look, at the end of the day, they're human as well, you know. And
guilty pleasures, man.
Yeah,
everybody watches them.
Enjoy it. Over a drink, it's pretty funny.
All right, Talk to me about the beard.
The beard.
What was this your idea, Carly's idea? Is this just off season doing something crazy?
Yeah, my barber actually was the one. He's like, oh, you should just grow the beard. I'm like, oh, it's off season, let's try something different. So I grew it out a little bit. And it's actually quite easy to maintain, but I actually just had a meeting with RP, so, and it went
Did he say anything?
Went pretty good. So, yeah.
Did he know it?
He's like, I don't recognize you. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know whether that's a clip around the ears or not, but we'll find out. But look, I'm just maybe hanging out with Ryan Blaney too much. Yeah.
All right, well, stay tuned. Watch this space for St. Pete 2025 to see if the beard is still there.
Yeah. If the hero cards have got the beard, you're
right. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And if Scott can continue the trend of moving upward to the championship, buddy, congrats on 24. Bro. Best of luck next year.
Thank you, bro. Cheers.